Welcome everyone to AEL University League. We are now in playoffs. The 8 teams will be fighting it out to see who will be the crowned champions. I'm joined today by Fetch, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm actually interested in this game in particular because we already, I believe, have the stakes for sort of where you go after this game. Of course, we know how the format goes. We've been explaining a little bit throughout the season. For those of you who don't know, it's a double elimination format. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. It's a double elimination format. And these two teams, we have a team who went completely, absolutely undefeated throughout the regular season versus a team who went 7-1. The winner of this game goes to fight Beating Lethal, I think.
We'll quickly go over to the brackets, and we can see that, Beating Lethal did take out the victory last night on stream, so the winner of this match will be going over to join them, and it's going to be an interesting one. It is a double elim, so if you do lose, you're not out yet, but you're making your job all that harder. That being said, we've got all players ready. Absolute fight here, as you've got 37 teams, I believe, started out in the group stage. I mentioned this yesterday. We're now down to 8. So 37 teams had to fight through groups and only 2 made it out. So we know that these are going to be such crucial games and such close games, as it's practically the best of the best at this point.
Absolutely. And like I said, the New Boomers have only dropped not dropped a single game, whereas UOW only dropped 1 game, and I believe that was to the team who then ended up winning their bracket. I might have to double check that part of it, but they did only drop 1 game throughout their entire regular part of the group stage. So both of these teams are incredibly good, and one of them is going to lose, either their first or second series this season so far. And actually, it looks like the team's already jumped in.
Yeah, we talk about that undefeated streak I've mentioned a few times. Sometimes can be a curse, and we will see that if it plays a part in here. We have definitely got some names. If you have been watching AEL for a while or been watching outside into the RLCS and Oceanic community, definitely some names to be watching here from the New Boomers side, and we'll see if the UOW team can take it to them.
Yeah, that's it. And none of these teams are pushovers, right? So we've seen sort of when we were getting that last little race to see who could make the playoffs, and actually it's UoN already opening up the goal. It wasn't quite the high-peg scoring styles we expect from some of the higher players in these teams, but it was kind of perfect. It was kind of technical. It kind of, it did come off the wall. It was the setup for the teammate, but it did feel like they're still kind of getting into this game, right? This series, right?
Yeah, exactly right. It definitely takes a while to warm up. This is the best of 7, so you have got those extra games to warm up as you do in a best of 5. You miss around in those first game or second game, and you can almost find yourself in a reverse sweep situation. Here you've got a little bit more leeway, and that was actually a very nice pass to Storm there to secure that goal, and they will take the lead here. Still 4 minutes to go. Plenty of time as the demo does come out in the midfield, and Storm will look to play it. Won't be able to though, so Anti-Venom will fall back, and here it is. Here is Esports Red's time to try and answer back for that goal.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And of course, I'm sure the viewers are smart enough to realize that UoN New Boomers, they're in the blue, UOW Red, they're in the orange. So it's good to say at the beginning of a broadcast, of course, UoN are the one with the extra goal. That is a helpful way of remembering it. But it does feel like the pace this one's picking up a little bit, especially in terms of some of these bigger plays. And we've still seen a few of those awkward defensive mishaps and things like that. But I think we're settling in quite well. And Storm goes for one off the crossbar, and it looks like Husey might have been able to get that waterfall down, or even the shot on the goal, but it didn't quite work out as many fishes can try and run it up the side.
Yeah, and I might not be in just yet. Still in the early stages, as a nice clear downfield will find itself on target. Anti-Venom there to put a stop to it early. Husey looking for a midfield pass, won't be able to find it. Will you play it into the goal square, and Statsy will play that one out to the side. Does get the demo as well. Will tie it up. Beautiful play by Statsy.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't actually quite see how the demo went. Started picking up the pace immediately. Just went for the torpedo straight into the opposing defender and finds the goal. And that's actually the equalizer. So, as we said, it's a full best of 7. It's as every caster loves to say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But yeah, it is sort of good to see this 1-1 at the moment. It's really not a matter of UoN, who are kind of on, statistically the favorites. That was a solid shot from Storm. Who are the favorites. We saw them really do some work last week. They're not kind of just running over this game 1, where we are seeing at least a back and forth.
Yeah, it's always good to see that you're not letting up too early, you're not giving it too much space, because in the early stages, if you give an inch, a team might take a lot more, as Anti-Venom almost finding one on target. Really good redirect there by Husey. Can't quite get that one. And right now, New Boomers definitely bringing the pressure, keeping them on the back foot, stuck in their own defense. And Statsy trying for another clear. Won't quite find it as Anti-Venom is playing this one high. Looking for that waterfall read yet again. And the waterfall is definitely what they've been going for a few times in the series.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to use that height advantage, that like extra ability to get those those higher angles, not just in terms of the physical like mechanics, but also the ability to play the ball in those awkward situations, which I really believe that that's something UoN are absolutely fantastic at. So I like the fact they're already kind of playing to their strengths and really seeing what the answers are for UOW, because even if they don't keep this going throughout the rest of the series, they have an understanding of the skills there. Husey finds only one defender left in the goal, didn't quite get that redirect, but it was a solid attempt. But yeah, I like the strategy.
Yeah, it's definitely good knowing what you're good at, sticking to that and really trying to utilize that, at least while it still works. And right now, the pressure is what they're utilizing well, just really putting pressure on them, making them in defense, using up all their resources, and then finally getting that shot on target. And Husey with a top corner banger there to get them the lead.
Yeah, that's it. 2-1. It's not a huge lead given the context of this series, and you know, it kind of feels like that first song of the when you go to like an orchestral performance. I'm gonna say, to not like tip my hand to how bad my musical knowledge is. You know, they always start with a song which is, it's kind of grand, but it's not the epic yet. They haven't hit the crescendo, and I feel like that's how we're getting to with this series. Husey with another nice redirect, and that's the 2-1. The 2-goal advantage to make it 3-1. Already my sentences together, but I'm kind of picking up. I'm starting to feel really excited about this series, especially with Husey just unloading these goals one after another now.
Exactly right. You talk about utilizing strengths, and Anti-Venom knowing that they can beat out the defender, using the height of the pitch to their advantage, knowing that using their boost to get to the top of the ceiling is what they do best, playing at that whole new dimension, which is one thing I do love about Rocket League. It does bring in that, and using it very well. Husey waiting down the midfield, quick counter attack, and can we see a quick counter attack here for the side of UOW, as they need to start answering back here. 2 goals down, can't afford to let this game any closer. Good flick there, will beat out one defender. Statsy with a shot on target, won't find that, and Anti-Venom will send it the other way. Husey, nice pop in the midfield, good shot opportunity. Great defense there by UOW.
Yeah, awesome defense, and maybe that's part of the thing they're kind of working towards. You know, establish the defense, start going on the offense once they've got the hang of that. Not sure that was quite where Storm wanted that to go. Might have been going for a pinch or something. But Shima going up really, really high, gets the pass off quite well. But also Husey, we talked about the goals, but I think it feels like at either end, Husey's always the one to make that last play. Like, the team is setting up so fantastically around them, but just how well is Husey playing as that kind of final defender as well as off on that offense?
Yeah, well, they're definitely forcing a few double commits on both ends, so it does take that player to take a step back, make sure they're seeing all outcomes on the field, and I think that is what Husey is doing very well, as time is going to wind down in this first game. It looks like UOW won't be able to answer back. Clock will strike 0. Might have one opportunity to regain the momentum. Storm will go up for it, and Storm will give a little bit of a courtesy goal as he puts that one away into his own net.
Round 1 banter, let's go. I like it. Oh, sorry, game 1 banter, I should say. I guess both, but I like that. I appreciate it. Ends up being a 3-2 line. Pardon me, scoreline. But I mean, hey, at least there's an extra goal there. Felt close. That's what the records books are going to show. But yeah, you highlighted it really, really well, talking about how UoN is so good at using the height, that extra kind of decision making in those more stressful situations. Or I guess more strenuous situations on teams, to how to make those passes, to how to get up high. And it feels like that's something they're doing really, really well. UOW, I feel like it's fair to say they had some answers though.
Yeah, definitely did, and I really liked how their defense was looking, making sure they're just rotating, they're not overcommitting too much. And one thing I did notice in the series beforehand is that defense, utilizing that opportunity to try and stop as many goals as you let in. You know, letting defense win games, but for right now, New Boomers offense is winning games as Storm. Really nice play up there, getting that nice redirect, and no one's going to be home to save that one.
Yeah, and the forward percentage, you know, the ball's actual forward percentage in terms of this game has been so far in the advantage of UOW, or at least in the first game. And, you know, if they kind of keep these patterns up, they're going to look pretty good, but we do need to see what UOW can show on the attacks. They just haven't had the opportunities. If they can start making those opportunities, they might have a phenomenal attack. They have, of course, had a couple, but it hasn't been consistent enough, and right at the moment, UoN, if they can keep that, that's kind of all they have to do, right? Keep that pressure up, but I mean, Statsy's going up for it. That was a bit of a mistouch, and it comes back down to Husey once again. And it really is that, like you said, that one-star player stepping up and making these big plays to kind of make a difference almost.
Yeah, and we talk about strengths. I think UOW just really struggling to find what strengths they can use in this game to try and overcome the speed. Almost getting a really nice shot on target. Storm will get a good squishy save. Shot on target will be saved away by Statsy, who tries to bring the pressure right back on to UON. And it will be found in their corner as they're really looking to try and answer back. Still plenty of time, but just, you're right, they really seem to be struggling bringing the ball out of their defense. Sorry.
Yeah, look, UON is so good that it's sort of not really a surprise. I think we had UON pegged to be like a definite semi-final team. I say we, I mean like in discussion on the air previously, you know, there was a lot of discussion about expecting them sort of like get knocked down at the semi-final mark. So it would be a huge upset, especially with Husey playing like this, the third player not able to connect off that what was a very good rebound. But again, it's the pressure. They just keep doing it. So even if they drop like, sort of 50% of their goals, they're still, you know, getting so many more of those shots. I don't even know if there's been a shot. There hasn't at there's been a couple of shots from UOW this game, but not super consistent. That was another nice attempt, but they just didn't have the numbers there, and it feels like they're kind of taking up a bit too much of the same space in offense as well for UOW.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit physical here, looking for those demos on third man as they're rotating out. Couldn't quite find a goal just yet. Also meant that if you are going for those demos on third, you are going to look for quick counter attacks. Almost get one there. Unfortunately, UOW unable to secure that one, will be sent their way as well. And Venom just going to hit that one on target, try and force out a few defenders, and does a really good job that. Storm infield pass to Husey, shot on target will be met. And defensive rotation here for UOW, doing really well, but it might not stop Husey. Going for one, going for two, going for the dunk, but couldn't quite put that one away. Anti-Venom's there to keep the pressure.
Yeah, you talked about double commitments as well on both sides, but I mean, look at how much pressure on the goals, like either goal. How much pressure Husey can provide solo, just pulling almost 3 players bit into that one, only the third player to drop down and sort of play that defense, able to like really play that sort of more static defensive role. Minifish Delish, great name, almost had a bit of an option there, but you know, UOW almost a little bit scared in that play there to kind of index forward because of how much offensive pressure UON can just turn around.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing that respect come out in UON, making sure they don't overcommit, making sure that they do back off when necessary to really stop the counterattacks nice and early. And we play into the corner. Statsy looking to get at 50. It'll be a bit of a stalemate here in the corner. Anti-Venom's going to be quick up to that one. Looking for the center pass. Won't quite find it. Husey's going to have to retreat here to try and buy time for their team to get back, gather some resources, and try and make that one final push. It is a 1-goal lead, and in Rocket League, that is never what you want. You always want that security goal. You want that 2-goal, especially after 0 seconds. Anything can happen. Storm's going to play that one downfield. Fish is going to be on that one to play it out. Won't be able to. And Statsy, he got the goal in the previous game. Really trying to get another one here for their team. If they want to take away this game and not be putting themselves in a 2-0 position series-wise.
Yeah, there's the demo, and actually might be a good setup there. That was actually fantastic. That shot, that setup, perfect for Minifish Delish. You highlighted the fact that Statsy got the demo off on the side. It really took all 3 players. But yeah, like that was sort of the perfect play, and it came off the fact that they managed to establish so much pressure on the offense. Maybe there was a little bit of possibly, you know, the squad from Newcastle, UON, being a little bit complacent, not kind of respecting that UOW offense, because it hadn't really hit them as hard, but it was just the perfect play. Shimon's got the waterfall down, there was a second player there, and they got the demo on the third defender, which is like been the absolute thorn on their side. I don't know if it was Husey or someone else, but plenty of capable players in this team. That was so fantastic.
Yeah, and they're not leaving the pressure just yet. Almost get a very nice double touch opportunity. Couldn't quite find it. And it is what we talk about, using your strengths. And right now, I feel like communication, because that play that you just described requires so much communication, so much to you to know where everything that your teammate is doing. Where is my teammate? Are they going for the demo? I should be midfield here. Perfect play to, I think, demonstrate that level of communication as Statsy trying to clear it off the back wall. 14 seconds to go. Just going to have to try and clear it out, but might give away possession for a shot on target. Good early meet out in midfield. Fish will be there to play it down. And Storm is just going to play this one to the corner, looking for that one last push. Won't be able to get it, so Anti-Venom on the ball here. will be early met by Statsy. Very nice play. And also looking to keep it up, will touch the ground, and we will have our first overtime.
And even better than that, the Boomers were forced to ground the ball right outside their goal. Like, they had to sort of close that play out because it was a good chance that was going the way of UOW, and they had to reset the play. But Statsy back on the aggression immediately, and the ball's going to go to Storm. I do like this. I like the fact that UOW have just stepped up just that little bit. They have to be careful not to let something in here. So much pressure. Here's Husey, the big goal scorer so far, but not going to get to too much anti-venom. Having to make a big rotate back, and I'm really loving the pressure UOW have just sort of turned on in this game.
Exactly right, and a double commit might give a shot opportunity. Statsy won't be able to secure that one. Will be there to look for the midfield pass. Fishes up for that one. Early beat by Husey downfield. Will give away possession as Shimmer looking to play down to their teammate. Couldn't quite make connection on it, so look to keep in the pressure. Husey being forced to keep the ball close because they know if they keep giving away possession like this, they're going to be finding themselves in a shot after shot opportunity, stuck on defense. Doing a really good job. Storm plays down to Anti. Won't be able to quite make connection with Storm, and Anti-Venom will send it back into the corner.
Yeah, and we've got a pretty close game at the moment, like you said, not just in terms of the scoreline, but also in terms of how quick these passing plays are. I've really, the sort of team coordination there from UoN was also pretty good, just being able to pass it back and forth. There was a demo. This time it was onto the attackers. So UOW, if they have a quick fire play, they might be able to find something as Storm runs it up the side. Shima is going to have to try and keep control of this solo, but Husey just gets the interrupt. And can this touch be enough? Not quite, as Statsy gets it clear, but has lost a bit of control there.
Yeah, and Fish will be there to clear it up. It does get beat out. Shima, really good speed up to that one. Anti-Venom forced to make an awkward save here. Will be off the backboard. Is anyone up for a Husey? Of course, Husey very fast in this game, making sure definitely beating out every opponent that will challenge. Husey yet again in the midfield. Shimmer gets a touch down middle. No one's going to be there, so it will be a 50 by Husey. We're going to keep that pressure alive, and Statsy with a huge clear downfield. This might be an awkward position. Shimmer shot on target, and UOW take their first win.
That was only a 2-minute overtime. I guess that's still pretty solid, but it was the perfect last little play for Shimmer. That sort of slight over index from UoN. They weren't able to put that first few goals away, that goal away in the first minute or minute 30. And it did just come down to the fact that UOW found a small opening and kind of managed to make something of it with Shimmer just pushed up that little bit further than midfield, a little bit further than they have been for the rest of the game. And a lovely little touch off the corner to redirect the one defender. UoN leaving the execution a little bit tight there. But a question I have for you, because you said that UOW, in that first goal they got in that game, it was really did come off a big kind of coordinated communication play. But do you think that UOW's communication was looking a bit rough before that?
I think it was. I think there was a little bit of panic setting in. You're in the finals now. You've made it out of your group. You're looking to beat, a very tough team as Storm does get another one on the board. And I think that first overtime that you have to endure in the semifinals, there will be that pressure there. And when pressure builds up on a team, that's when you start lacking a little bit of comms. You start focusing a little bit harder. And that is what will separate a good player from a great player, is in those moments of where the pressure's on, you're still maintaining clear comms and you're still keeping that going. And at the end of the game, they do come out victorious. So hopefully we can see more of that communication. Hopefully the nerves are a little bit shaken down now.
I reckon they are after a 2-minute overtime, especially after you had such a close attempt on the 0-second goal. That's great. That's really, really good pressure. And just to be able to execute like that was really good. I mean, sure, Storm got that opener, but they're looking like they're still kind of keeping that same fight going. Husey puts the ball up. I didn't see if there was anyone in a perfect position. We saw Andy kind of off the side. Now Storm's going to go for a setup. But yeah, I'm liking the fact that UOW aren't just taking that one game and being like, that's pretty good. They're kind of trying to keep the fight going and see what UoN is going to bring to this game.
Exactly right. And they're choosing their battles, especially in the midfield, making sure they're not going up for things that they're not going to clean beat. So when they do go up, they know, okay, I'm easily going to win this ball. I'm definitely going to force a 50, which is really good to see, especially when, as we talk about UoN being very fast up in the air. And shot opportunity. Storm will play it aside. Husey will send it down the other way. And it is really good to see the decision making here from UOW, but it might not be enough as pure speed right now seems to be working for UoN.
Yeah, and I think there was a lovely little shepherd there off the side. Look at Husey and Statsy. Husey just that's like the perfect shepherd.
It's perfect.
Yeah, just put yourself between the defender and the ball, and what are they like? They can't do anything. Knocks are great, you know. Demos are great, but sometimes that's all it takes. Big attempt at the kickoff goal here, of course. Anti gonna be able to answer that one off the backboard, but yeah, UON they're looking much more like they did in that game one. You know, second half of game one, let's say, because the first half was a little bit rough from both sides, but this pressure coming straight back on, they're really showing us in this game 3 why they're the favorites.
Yeah, exactly right. And they're not letting up, still looking to secure this win by more and more goals, unless UOW will have something to say about it. And just touching on what you mentioned before, because I really do like the idea, is one thing we noticed from UON over UOW is they're being active on the play at all times. They're saying, okay, if this isn't my ball to go for, what else can I do? Can I go for a bump? Can I rotate into this certain position? It's something that UON are doing really well, as Storm popping off right here. Few goals on the board, and they do take another one.
Yep, 3 of them were being active on that play, but it works out. It works out. They got 3 of them to touch the ball, and Storm ended up being the one to get it across the line. I think that was a bit of a weird sort of situation for UOW to be in. I don't think they were quite ready for that play. But they can't let that defense go, and I absolutely agree with you. That is a difference maker in UON, and if they're able to pull a lot of the pressure up high and sort of really make some of these contests happen like they were in game one, they were doing fantastic jobs. Kind of winning some of those, or even putting the ball where you couldn't really contest it. And that was a really quick kind of play on the defense. I think that the communication might have dropped a little bit maybe for UON there, but the fact that Mini was in the perfect position is really good.
Exactly right. Calling out the missed shot there from UON, making sure you punish it for that. And really good speed and power on that shot as well. We'll give them a little bit of hope, still plenty of time. Down by 2 goals now, so can definitely make that comeback, as Anti-Venom will get a miss in midfield. We'll give them a little bit of time, but very awkward. And that's where we talk about that communication not working out. It seems to be that communication's either going very well, or sometimes they just find themselves in very awkward positions. And what a shot from Shimmer! Goes onto the backboard, gets the redirect, finds the angle needed.
That's so huge. That angle must have been the tiniest thing ever. Even needed the bounce to make sure it crossed the line. Shimmer, that was absolutely amazing. Sometimes you need an individual to step up and make these plays. Like, it has been the coordination, which has been the hero for UOW. Also the villain sometimes. You know, the angler and the devil, of course, the classic meme. But, like, yeah, the fact that you can get an individual player to step up, and that's it, equalized. 30 seconds ago, you said, there's still time. Now, 2 minutes remaining, it's an even game in game 3, and this is to decide who gets that ahead, gets that advantage, and gets to start threatening the match point as well.
Shimmer didn't get a goal or assist on that play, but you know what Shimmer did? Momentum. Huge goals like the one that they just pulled off can really drive a team, and I think I would love to see their players' reactions to that goal. I think they're absolutely hype. I think they've got all the momentum going towards their way now, and the only thing that's stopping them right now is themselves. I think they're hype. They're looking forward to this now. They're on the edge of their seats looking to really bring it to UON now.
Yeah, you say that you think they're hype. They immediately went for a ground pinch goal with like 2 players contesting them, like straight after. I think that means that they're hype. But you know, it's not like UON have ever sort of let themselves so far in Uni League kind of take a deficit and just sort of like roll over. But oh my god, this UOW defense just looks like something else now. QZ does manage to get past Mini Fish, but the rotation's back. Just there's always that one extra player in the goal, and that's exactly what we want to see from like solid Rocket League defense. Unfortunately, that was one too many attacks. They pushed out of it aggressively, and Anti gets one and says, all right, you had your fun, but remember that we're the favorite still.
Yeah, Anti-Venom putting that one away in the constant pressure, making sure you make the other team use up all their resources, all their boost. Eventually, it might not make you score right then, but 10, 15 seconds down the track, that is when those goals start to let up from the constant attack there. UON do manage to get on the board, and I will be honest, a few missed opportunities coming out from UON. I think if they were hitting their shots like we've seen them do before, this might not be as close a game. But that's not to discredit UOW's defense. They are hitting the goal line saves. They are doing amazing on defense to keep that rotation. And I still think 40 seconds, this is still anyone's game. The amount of times that UOW has pulled off some amazing plays. Look, they've got this in the bag. They haven't They've still got the pressure. They've still got all the momentum. I believe that they're still hype, and Shimmer's still hype. Does put that one in the goal, and will tie it up. 23 seconds left.
That was kind of just Statsy and Shimmer just playing with them, just messing around, being like, basically just playing a game of keepings off. They went like they had that flashback to like year 2 where they're just kind of like messing with one of their friends. And we're like, what if we just scored off that? It was good. I like it. They really are having fun with this game 3. Scores are locked. 20 seconds to go, and it's UoN who want to just come out quick and try and just put a goal back. You said they've missed a fair few shots, and I think they actually had a pretty good shot rate in some of their previous games, but you're right, this one maybe dropping by a little bit. Minifish has got it, Shimmer's up. This is it! They get the goal with 6 to go, and momentum, yeah, they've won one game, they've threatened the next one. It's a 6-second window right now for UoN to kind of come back in that. They went a bit too hard off the kickoff there, but maybe if they try that, maybe they have to try that again. I don't know. This series is getting so good.
Catching the UoN Boomers off completely out of all sorts there. Not being able to get back in time. Leaving that one defender back. Shimmer doing a really good job of playing together. And their first and second man doing a really good job at pushing up. Making sure that they're there to support each other. And one thing I do love, I do mention Statsy doing a really good job at making sure when they are going to, as first man, Statsy's making sure that they're pushing up the field. Once they can no longer get the ball, they're looking to stay active. They're going for these demos. They're going for these disruptions, which we have seen Statsy go for a few times. And Shimmer right now being the star on their team, making sure that they're there to drive it home when need to.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's been fantastic. It's sort of the captain role. I'm sorry for people who've watched me cast a lot, because this is something I go back to a little bit too much. But yeah, it's kind of that captain role where you have a player who steps up, who kind of pulls the rest of the team with you, even if they aren't the best performing player in every game. They are the one who is sort of able to lift a little bit and really have pull the rest of the team with them because of those individual plays, because of those motivations and things like that. And it's fantastic to see that UOW have that player.
Yeah, and every player needs it. I feel like right now UoN does have Husey for that. I am just seeing a little bit not enough communication. They're forcing a few double commits. They just seem to be a little bit out of sorts right now. And look, I would be a little bit out of sorts as a player if a team came out and just managed to do what UOW was, which was come back from, I think, 2 goals down to score an amazing angle to then follow it up with goal after goal. 5 to 6 scoreline. You don't see that too often. 11 goals in that one game. Definitely a high-scoring offensive game. Maybe we need to start seeing some defense. Maybe we need to start seeing some teams buckle down a little bit and really fix out their rotations.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, this is still we do talk about the fact that we've especially in that series, we managed to get a very, very solid level of Rocket League around here, but there is always room for improvement in a lot of these games, and that is something which it's kind of going to be those adaptations. I think when we see Rocket League at this sort of level, you really often find it's that one team who finds that extra gear, those faster rotations or whatever, who can kind of pick up the series and just run with it from there.
Yeah, and that will be 2-1, I believe, to UOW. So pressure all on UoN as we are looking to just get the lobbies remade real quick. Just players were having a bit of troubles with that server, as if with Rocket League. If you've been a part of the Rocket League scene for a while, you know that sometimes servers can have a little bit of problems. Sometimes you just need that refresh, that restart. Maybe that's what UoN need here if they're going to answer back after UOW manage to secure that one. Still a best of 7 though, so still 3 games in. Still have a possible 4 more, and this is looking like it might go the distance.
Yeah. Look, I hope it does, because I think I'm really enjoying these 2 teams. I think UoN still have a little bit more to show, because there have been some of those mistakes. You kind of highlighted some of them, and that that could be that really could be something we see in that next game. Of course, this will be our game 4. Scorelines are 2-1 at the moment. But it is, momentum is so far in the favor of UoN. Of UOW at the moment. So sorry, I was trying to reset the server at the same time. So it really, you got to think that they're going to be able to, if nothing else changed in the series, UOW just keep carrying that momentum maybe a server reset does change things, but I do think that they're the ones with the momentum. It really is up to UoN to kind of pick up the pace. But God, this has been such a good series so far.
Exactly right. We've had amazing goals. We've had OTs. What more could you ask for? And we're only 3 games in. We still have plenty more. That being said, I am really looking forward to seeing those adaptations that we talk about from both teams. And I do think that even though UOW managed to win that game, still a few things they can knuckle down. We definitely saw them have some trouble with communication, have some trouble with... I feel like it was a little bit of not handling the pressure in terms of getting really awkward in their own defense, not really knowing what to do in certain situations, and just kind of watching UON come at them with attack after attack. But the main thing about UON is after attack, they still weren't scoring. They need to pick up those goal percentages, make sure that they're really starting to convert to really push this game, because I don't know how many shots on target. I wasn't actually paying too much attention to that, but it definitely felt like they had shot after shot. And sometimes that would also force all 3 players up the field, because when you have shot after shot and you're not getting that goal, you just start to get really frustrated, and that's when we see the 3rd man overcommit, and that's when we see quick counterattacks, which is what UOW was doing good at.
Yeah. I did see there was sort of moments where UoN had some of those counterattacks and things like that as well, but the fact that UOW shot up the defense so well, I like that. And it wasn't perfect, of course. UoN's attack, when they kind of line all the pieces up, is fantastic. But yeah, you like you say, you do need to sort of calm that down a little bit, and that's what I was trying to credit Shima for in that last game, being the captain sort of role, taking on that responsibility to just kind of be there for the team, be the settling presence. I don't know if this is realistic. It's just kind of what I've inferred from the rest of the play. But always having that player, and hopefully UoN, they do have someone on their kind of, on their roster there. If they have an extra player who's playing with them, kind of, giving them a massage between games, like the server reset comes in, that could be beneficial as well. If you sent me a message there, I couldn't see it because it's behind my chat stuff.
I believe we do have a new lobby set up. If you want to quickly make me party leader, I think I'll be able to get us in really quick.
I'm in the lobby. I have set it up, so I don't know what's going on there.
I'm not in the lobby, so I will quickly... I'll leave and I'll join the lobby real quick.
All right, awesome. But yeah, like that. This is kind of, I think, where mental, to just kind of keep the conversation going. Where sort of like having a player who's able to balance mental is so important. We hear about it a little bit in other esports, where there are players who are fantastic. They are the mech masters. They know the game so well. But if they aren't able to play with the team, if they kind of are a disrupting factor in terms of the mentality of the team, they sometimes will get relegated to a sub role, or even sometimes not picked up. So having that is so important. And it's not even if your team is itself kind of a bit disruptive or a bit, a bit not always on the same page, I guess might be the way to, the other way to put it. But it can just kind of keep you calm under pressure and make that little difference in a tight series like this.
Exactly right. And that being said, we have got the lobby back. We are ready to go here. Sorry about that. We were just fixing up, making sure everyone was in, making sure everyone was ready, as we don't want to miss out on the exciting action and the exciting games that are ahead of us with how close this competition is. A shot on target, and right now UoN, I think, have scored every goal at the start of the game within 10 to 20 seconds.
It feels like it. It definitely feels like it. Which is unfortunate they lost that overtime as well, because that's kind of like, it's a different set of, it's different to like sort of the regulation time and whatnot. But yeah, their ability just to come out of the gate with that pressure is so good. But they have been punished for it, in some pretty important times as well. Remember that UOW are the ones who are sitting with that 2-game kind of running hot streak. So it is up to UoN to disrupt that. And, a good start like this helps, but we haven't seen it really do much for the last 2 games.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is drop this game and then find yourselves having to pull off a mini reverse sweep, we'll call it, because you already have that first game, but giving a team a 3-game momentum going into that final match is not what you want. As Fish looking to get a shot on target, will be played off the backboard. Venom is there to clear it out to the side, and Shimmer right there, seeing if they can pull off some goals and really give their team that momentum like we saw in that previous game. And then Husey looking to do the same thing on the other end. Definitely a player to watch for his team. A Storm looking for the midfield pass will be met. And will be played into the corner. A little bit of ping pong happening between both teams. No one really able to get a clean field pass or clear possession.
Yeah, got a bit of a reset on the game, so I think there's some of that like laser focus with some of the teams.
How do we play this game again?
Yeah, Yeah, that's it. That's my excuse every time I play Rocket League. But yeah, like that is they are gonna take a second for that. But I'm sure it's gonna be because they've been in this series for so long. I'm sure it won't take too long as we're starting to see proper 50-50s and things like that come out back to back even. Let's go. That's exciting. And actually, Anti-Venom gets the third one of those and just puts the ball straight across the line. So there's 2-0 lead for UON. Not something UOW are unfamiliar with. This disadvantage, you know, they pulled it back in 30 seconds. We saw in one of the previous games, and I think that was like a 3-1 to so end up being 3-4 and them take that game. I don't know if that was last game or the game before, but you know, it's sort of weird that UOW have to keep playing from behind, but the fact they're so good at it, and Shimmer is the one often to do that, didn't quite find the goal. Two players being able to kind of pass that one off and clear it out quite nicely. A nice little juke for Statsy, who's going to make this attack just that little bit more awkward, but you know, still got to find that clearance.
Yeah, and to say that 2 goals doesn't even feel secure in a series like this, where comebacks have happened at any moment with more goals. Shot on target, Husey couldn't quite find that. Good save by Statsy. And we talk about that pressure yet again here, and that's how they've got their first 2 goals. Keeping themselves on the offensive end, making sure that they're rotating, not expressing all the way back down the other end of the field, so that they can keep that attack going and going. Is what is working out for them so far. Can the rotation hold up from UOW, or will we see more lapses as Venom will be quick up to this one, looking to play downfield. Shimmer there to keep it high, looking for the double touch as well. No one there to challenge. Demo in the midfield will give some time on the ball. Fish unable to get to that one. Venom does play down into the midfield and good beat up by Husey to play the ball to Shimmer in the corner, and Shimmer looking for a nice pass play downfield.
Yeah, and is sort of setting up this midfield control a little bit better. I really like looking at sort of the players who are able to dominate this midfield area because it's such an important pivot point, you know, between attack and defense, obviously. So that's literally what it is. But also, like, in terms of who can control this game, and a little nice jink by Shimmer. Can't quite get that second player. Looks like there was a demo, so that attack was pretty short-lived regardless. Statsy, actually, Husey kind of left that one, and Statsy got a little baited by it, but it still ends up being a pretty comfy clear for Shimmer. It does go back to Husey once again, but this isn't really where UON want the ball to be, at least not right at the moment.
No, they definitely want to get a few more goals on target, especially how easily UOW have come back in the past. Can they start that now? 1 minute 30 left. If there's any time to do it, gotta start making that comeback now. Storm still up with it, looking for the double touch. Couldn't quite find it. Anti-Venom there. Put a shot on target. Couldn't quite find the angles. Did run out of boost. And Hughes is going to be there to keep the pressure. Buy some time for the rest of their team to gather some boost, make sure they're in the right positions on defense so they can start that counter-attack yet again. Husey will start it with a huge clear downfield. He'll be up for a nice and early shot on time. Good save by Shimmer, going for the squishy save, being in the perfect position. And the goal line save yet again for UOW.
That's so good. I mean, we saw them kind of have to make these time after time, and that was the only real way which you know, UON was scoring on them. But don't forget that it's 48 seconds and a 2-goal deficit still. I mean, sure, this is just to equalize the series, but even then, UON looks so good in this series. And I actually wondered if Shimmer might get that, but that's a 3-goal lead. 2 goals may not be secure, but I got to think with only 40 seconds left on the clock, 3 goals should be. And I really thought that UOW were going to be able to carry that out of defense, but they just couldn't find the clearance at all.
Yeah, unfortunately relying on the first player to make the save. The other 2 players getting a little bit confident, cheating up out of net, and that's what we see those kind of quick counterattacks happen, because you've got to watch out the speed for UON. Definitely not to be reckoned with, as trying to get that goal line shot here. Won't be able to find it. And 30 seconds left, 3 goals. We might be finding ourselves in... Yeah, pretty secure here for UON as Anti-Venom looking for another shot on target. Won't be able to do. Statsy will play it downfield. Husey keeping the pressure alive out in midfield. Gets a flip reset there for Storm, I believe. Won't be able to use it though. And Statsy forced to give away possession. A good dunk by Shimmer. Couldn't quite put it away. Does finish it off, and hopefully not going to win them the game, but can give them the momentum leading on to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's Shimmer. It's Shimmer the one who was helping the team lift. At least that's what we're going with so far. You know, until we get sort of evidence elsewise. Shimmer was the one who's helping the team lift, getting a goal at least in that last game, not getting 3-0'd in. Again, what's an equalizer? Like, it wasn't a game which was going to decide the series. It wasn't a game which was going to put UON super far ahead. It was just an equalizer. UOW still able to find a goal, even if it was close to the end of the game. to kind of keep themselves going, keep themselves acknowledging that, you know, we're still in this game, we're still playing it. And that's good. You know, that's going to be super helpful for your mentality. And if they can keep holding on to that and sort of find a way to repel the UoN attack, not just be making those last-minute goal line saves, but proper, big, resounding clearances. That's what they need to kind of find.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be meeting the ball early, making sure that you're stopping the attack before it happens. And if that doesn't seem to succeed, if you are getting beat out in the midfield, then you really want to make sure you're kind of playing to your strengths, as we have talked about plenty of times, and making sure you're not going for these balls that you know you're not going to get. If you see a player that's easily going to beat you out to it, making them give away possession, because that is what UON's doing really well. They're making sure that UOW, it seems like they're giving time on the ball, but really they're just making you throw the ball away while they back off and then bring that counter attack happening straight back on us. Shot on target there by Shimmer will be saved across by Anti-Venom.
Yeah, and this is better attacking pressure, especially from UOW right here. I mean, they still need to kind of be winning these possessions and making sure they find, winning these contests, 50-50s and whatnot. But they do also, you know, need to keep up the momentum. I kind of lost for the second half of that point, was halfway through making it. But if they can keep the shots going, I think they're pretty consistent with their shot accuracy. Of course, fired off 2 so far. Neither have found the net. But when they do get these sort of running plays, they're pretty good at it, right? I don't think that's something which is going to be their weakness. So they can try and find a way to take this ball off Husey once again. UON going straight back to the height, which they've been really has been a power point for them really throughout the series, even if it's not as much as it was in game 1. Then UOW will have a bit more strength there. Shimmer trying to run that one through, but not really getting perfect possession of it.
Yeah, and it might be a pretty fluid pass there by Husey. Won't be able to make contact. Demo might free up a little bit of space as Husey does get a miss, and Fish will be putting that one away. A bit of a tongue twister there, what we got there. Really nice pass from Statsy, good finish, and good fake there by Fish.
Yeah, that was it. That was a really good play. And again, like I say, if they get opportunities, they're able to put them away. And to be fair, again, it sometimes is catching UON trying to set up a midfield play and sort of just punishing for that with a quick momentum change. But that's fundamentally a part of Rocket League. So, you know, that is still good play from UOW. And you mentioned the fact that UON always seems to find the opening goal, but it was almost 2 minutes before anyone scored, and it was UOW who found it rather than UON, Newcastle, the squad from Newcastle. And that was a big, quick play from Storm. I'd like to see the speed on that one. Full 87 miles an hour.
87 miles an hour, 141 kph. Absolute boomer there between both players. And look, those are the goals that you want to do, but you don't actually think they're going to work. And they work, and you're just, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Absolutely amazing shot there to tie that one up. And no one's saving that. The speed that was going at, that is almost unsavable. You just got to almost sit back in goals and just watch it find its way into the back of the net.
And it also made me learn that my game is reset back to the Imperial system, which is good to know. So I sort of saw that and was like, I just said what I saw on my screen and was like, hang on a minute. But yeah, the big news is that was an equalizer. It was a fantastic shot there, and Storm might have an opportunity. Not many players back. It is Shimmer who managed to get the disruption. You said meeting the ball early. There it is. Anti-Venom gets disrupted a little bit on this attack. Statsy goes up to try and contest that midfield, but Husey gets the ball. There's only one player back, and it's Shimmer. But that play off the post is just too good to make it a 2-1 lead here. Back-to-back, a couple of quick-fire goals as UON is one to do. And they've found themselves the advantage again. This is to try and find that match point position if I'm counting correctly.
Exactly right. And sometimes it doesn't always have to be a 141 shot. Sometimes it just has to be placement. That's what Husey did a really good job there. Just making sure that you hit that sidebar, find its way into the net. Sometimes placement can be everything. 2 minutes left. They do find themselves up by 1 goal. And you are indeed correct. I feel like this is a huge game. If you win this, you've got yourself a game leeway to try and take that series point. As Husey trying to keep the pressure here, does get a nice pass down. Anti-Venom shot on target. Shimmer easily plays that one to the side. Won't stop the pressure though as Storm shot on target. Almost finds the placement. Good goal line save yet again by Statsy. And that's all we're seeing right now. Goal line save after goal line save. But I really feel they need to start meeting the ball a lot earlier and not putting them in that position as Husey places it yet again. Bottom right corner. Husey is on fire.
Yeah, and that was a double coup to the defense as well. If Husey doesn't make that, that could be a big punish. And I feel like this shot accuracy, you kind of gave him a little bit of a very gentle slap on the wrist before for not finding their shots, for not finding the accuracy on their shots. It's a little bit better at the moment, potentially, and we need to see a few more shots go kind of on target before I think we can say still be super comfortable with that. But that extra level of pressure which they're putting onto UOW has been great. But maybe even UOW finding themselves a little bit tired in this series because they put so much focus into the game, both physical and also emotional. But Statsy finds an open goal, and it's oh no! There were 2 attempts. The goal was open. Oh no!
That's not what you want to see, especially in such a crucial time. You get that goal, you've got a minute to try and tie it up, and you talk about that mental fatigue, and it's got to be there after an opportunity like that. I really hope those are the kind of plays that you want to make sure you're not dropping your head. You take it with a grain of salt and still continue to play out the rest of the game, which I believe UOW has the mental to do. So a Statsy shot on target. Fish will be there to tie it up, and looks like their mental's just fine as they're still making this attack as well as they can.
That felt like a scrum there. Oh, wrong terminology. We made the AFL reference with the Shepherd earlier. That was just a straight up scrum. 4 players just shoving the ball as hard as they could. 1 team got the goal off it. That is, it was a very messy quote unquote play, but I feel like that's exactly kind of what UOW wanted in that situation. So it worked out for them. Husey going back into the play. Mini Fish didn't quite get the touch they might have liked. It looked a little bit dangerous. The Storm tried to put the ball straight on target from there, but it didn't quite work out as now it's Statsy coming up with an attack, and UOW maybe another opportunity if they can find those really good attacking efforts or even a punish on a misposition on defense. They might have this equalizer, but it's 17 seconds left.
Will they have enough time to tie this game up? Statsy does get a nice pass down to Shimmer. Statsy looking to disrupt the play, doesn't find Husey. Husey goes up early for that one. 5 seconds. All they got to do is waste time looking for the double, looking for the pinch. Couldn't quite find it. 1 second left. All players up for a shot on target. Won't find its way into the net, but UON do find themselves on match point.
Yeah, that was a very close, tight last few seconds of the play there as well. I mean, we could have seen something being turned around, but not to be. And yeah, UON straight back to a really strong position. They've got the match point. They've got the momentum. They kind of wrestled it back a little bit, but UOW showing way more signs of life in that last little passage of play. But if the fatigue is hitting, I don't know what to say about that. Like, I don't know what else there is, but maybe we see that second win coming out from UOW.
Yeah, well, for players that aren't really used to this best of 7 format, it can be a bit of a shock as best of 5s can go past really quickly. You can just find yourself playing a series and the next minute it's gone. But these best of 7s, especially when it's going the distance, you can just find that little bit of fatigue. You can just get drained after 4 or 5 games, knowing that you still have to play at this kind of level with this kind of communication and pressure for another 3 or 4 games. So maybe that's not what they're used to. Maybe they're just, really pushed themselves in those first few games, and now it's kind of showing.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, and I think the other point about it is that, because I know that like I've definitely played, Storm opening, okay, that's something UON have done a lot this series. Let's not get too hyperbolic about the game being over just yet, but it was a sort of a very slow play from Statsy, which definitely got punished there. I mean, maybe not many opportunities to get rid of the ball because it was on the inside of the goal, and that's a rough place to play from. But, I mean, I've definitely played sort of like, I think we've all probably sat down and played like 20 games of Rocket League in a row, but there are a lot of those games where you just ride them off like 5 seconds in. You get a teammate who's just sort of like actively own goaling, and you just sort of chill out and listen to music or watch a video whilst you're playing. You don't get that. You are on so much more in these competitive games. It's a very hard thing to explain if you haven't sort of experienced it, but it is so much more draining. The full, at the moment, what has already been, almost that sort of 7 games so far. We've already seen 5 of them. That does take it out of you. Husey goes up for that one, but we're seeing these tighter plays, these sort of more close, sort of skirmishy plays. And that angle was almost fantastic from Shimmer, but the defense did get time to get back. But you're seeing how this isn't quite that same artsy, beautiful aerial Rocket League we saw earlier, and a few more mistakes coming through. That just kind of shows that fatigue from both sides.
Yeah, exactly right. And also to touch on that, I have just from like what I've understood from professional play as well, is some players will find sitting there in, playing Rocket League for 6 or so hours straight, easy, very manageable. It's what they do. They can do it all the time. But that compared to just an hour of this kind of level play, they find way more draining than just sitting there. And that's what I do love about competitions. You're in a best of 5. You are continuously communicating working out what is the best idea for your team, and Anti-Venom doing that as well, getting yet another goal. UoN really just biting down and doing what has to be done for them to get this lead.
Yep, exactly it. You know, it's only 2 goals though. We've seen this comeback happen. We've heard we've sort of seen the narrative before. That was a bit of a different sort of different lobby even, but you know, it's clearly possible. It's clearly still there, especially because there's been mistakes from both sides. So if UOW they really find that invigoration, they'll feel quite good about it. But UoN clearly they're the ones who are excited right now. Big whiff from Minifish Delish. Not going to be punished just there, but you know, it's got to be a good clearance from Shimmer. It's got to be a good play from here. They can't be the ones making the mistakes. 2 players go up, 1 player kind of wins that, and it's not a UOW jersey, so to speak. But yeah, Anti-Venom kind of controlling this midfield quite well, just kind of locking it down, trying to slow down the game a little bit more to make those big, exciting comebacks less of a reality.
Yeah, and UOW is still doing a really good job on defense, still finding those opportunities. They're just lacking those final touches that lead to goals, or lacking those quick counter-attacks. But still doing a very good job here, and you're right, 2 goals, we've discussed it plenty of times. That's not a lead in this series. That is 5 seconds worth of gameplay that can be quickly turned around. Will Statsy be able to pull it off, as looking to start that pressure there? Won't be able to, as Anti-Venom will set it into their corner. Minifish Delish on the side wall, trying to beat out 1 defender, won't be able to. Shim will be there to clean it up, does beat out 1 defender. Minifish on that one. Can't quite get there. These shot on targets just aren't finding the power needed to find their way into the net.
Yeah, not quite, and that's a bit rough for them. Time is only ticking down. Yeah, UOW, time is just their opponent right here. I mean, obviously UoN are as well, but yeah, you know what I mean. You got me on that one. Minifish Delish trying to run this one up. 2 defenders there, and this is the thing. UoN, they don't have to, you know, a big source of their problems in this series has been this inability to be able to construct a solid attack and defense at the same time, be able to transition between those. Right at the moment, they can index so much more into defense. Good attempt there coming in by Shimmer, but Husey is just able to play that one out. And this is it, right? You know, yes, sure, you aren't out of the tournament if you lose this game, but you're pretty damn close. If you are, you know, UOW, it's going to be a much harder road. They need to make something happen here if they don't want to lose that first sort of life in this double elimination bracket. 2 players go up. It's a double commit, but they still aren't able to find a meaningful kind of connection onto that one. Minifish was backing up quite nicely as Storm's going to put the ball forward. 40 seconds left, 2 goals. It's a big ask, but UOW can do it.
And Minifish do it as well. Still looking to keep that pressure, making sure you're not giving space to this UoN. Really trying to suffocate them on the defensive end. You need to get a goal ASAP. 30 seconds left. Minifish will clear it down to a teammate. Statsy there to beat out 1. Will pass the ball over to Husey, and that is what they're doing well. They're making sure that the first player to go for the ball is just forcing out a touch. You're not necessarily wanting to force a challenge, and they're just making their job a lot easier for the second player like Husey just to come in, get that easy clear, keep that pressure alive, and with time winding down, it will be game here for UoN New Boomers. They get 1 to finish it off, and they will find themselves continuing through the upper bracket.
And I believe that was the first goalless game. I'm assuming there is some ridiculous kickoff goal, which I think is unlikely here, but who knows? There is technically a 1 still left on the timer, but I don't think that's enough time for the players to get to it. But yeah. Oh, no, okay, there we are. No ridiculous sort of last-second goals, but that was the first game UOW were kept out scoreless, I believe. You know, I might be missing one of the games. I might not have thought it through fully, but I'm almost certain that was the first time UoN pitched a full kind of just run through of UOW. And I mean, we expected that they'd get to semifinals. We weren't sure if they'd make it any further, but it's kind of time for the New Boomers, for the University of Newcastle, to show us that we were wrong. We talked about the team they've got in the next round that is going to be beating Lethal. And that, like, we're kind of hoping that beating Lethal comes up against Lethal in that grand final. I think that was a little narrative we like to pick up. But I feel like UoN, they can absolutely play spoilers to our expectations, to our hopes, to the narratives, to absolutely everything. And I want to see them come through in the semifinals and give us an absolute, phenomenal effort there. On the other hand, UOW, they played so well in so many parts. They were the underdog. And this is only the second series they've lost the entire year so far. Of course, we have, the second season coming up later, but that is the first series which second series UOW have lost, and they made it close. So huge credit to both of these teams. It was an incredibly entertaining series. That last game, definitely, UoN kind of ran over a little bit. maybe it's the fatigue, maybe it's something else, but I absolutely like credit to both teams. It was a really fantastic series to watch.
Yeah, I definitely think this won't be the last we see of UOW. They definitely have what it takes to make that lower bracket run if they can play like how they did in the first few matches there. I think you're right. I think the best of 7 definitely just got to them after kind of peaking mentality-wise in those Game 2 and Game 3. Just found themselves struggling towards the end of that. And UoN Boomers, they will be going up to beating Lethal, who I casted them yesterday, and they look very strong. They look very consistent, very rotational. So they're going to be, I feel like that is going to be one of the games to watch. You do hope that narrative, regardless, I think Lethal talked about it on one of the interviews that getting a show match between those two things, I offer to cast that, because I feel like that'd be an absolute ball to watch those two teams go at it. The amount of banter that we'll see would be great. That being said, we got to see what's ahead of us. And right now, it is going to be UoN taking on beating Lethal. We still have the lower bracket to go through to see who will be making the semi-final. That will be on later during the week. That being said, any final words, any final thoughts about how you think that series went, or how you thought about the teams?
I mean, I really liked both teams. I actually hope that UOW stand up and kind of sort of go and scrim some more best of 7s against like other teams in the tournament, you know, other teams who are like, you know, first place teams, possibly even against UoN. Just like keep doing it. They found UoN's weaknesses. Maybe they keep doing that sort of you know, that sort of thing, that just rerun that series a few more times and get used to that best of 7, get used to how long it is, get used to what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, and really play off that. Because, you know, a team like that is good to be able to play against and to be able to kind of really figure out where your strengths and weaknesses lie. So hopefully they do that. And I think that gives them a really solid chance of making a decent attempt at that lower bracket.
Yeah, definitely. And that experience, whether it's in scrims or in the playoffs, definitely is what you need as a player. That being said, that is all from us today. Just one series. We'll keep it short and sweet, and that series definitely was good to watch. So that is all from us from AEL University League, brought to you by Chatime. Also, shout out to AOC Monitors, Indomie Australia the Noodles, and Rig Headsets. That is all from us today, and we'll see you later on during the week to watch the rest of the playoffs.